Hello all you lovely ladies and gentlemen, this is Azecreth, and this will be the first of hopefully many parts of my Endless Space Let's Play. So we're coming off my recent failure in Sins of a Solar Empire, and I'll get back to that game eventually, but for now I decided to try something different. Endless Space. This game was designed by Amplitude Studios. It's had an expansion, it's had a couple of other related games such as Endless Legend and Dungeon of the Endless. Lots of ends here, as you may have noticed, or endless anyway. So, there are a lot of factions. They finally got around to unlocking the Vaulters, which I was happy with. We're going to be playing as the Amoeba. These are the peace-oriented faction, and their special affinity that they have lets them see the entire map, which is pretty awesome. They also start with some techs, plus 50 trade routes, more wealth for those trade routes, etc. So they're the nice guys. They don't want to go to war, and we just want to be friends with everyone, if we can. That as opposed to someone like the Cravers, who basically make the thing off murdering everybody. Now we've got difficulty, game speed set to normal, because I don't want to set myself up for failure again. Got these things, so we're good there. We'll go with an ovoid shape. Sorry about the train in the background. 4 empires we can let expand, have some real conflict without going overboard. And, yeah. So let's begin, shall we? Really a big fan of this game. I really enjoyed this game, and I'm glad to be here playing it for you all. So, I'm going to shut up the cutscene that I know is coming, because I know you want to hear it. If the map ever loads.
The oldest nation that we know of, the Amoeba strive to live in harmony with nature, with each other, and even in space with their ships. They have been watching and listening to the stars for ages, hearing the words of the cosmos itself. For the belief of the Amoeba is to represent all life and see that it lives in harmony everywhere in the galaxy.
So that is the Amoeba. That is us. And here we have the main menu screen. Looks... well, not the main menu, sorry. The game map looks beautiful, just gotta say. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. UI isn't bad either, though I can't really comment because I'm not a big aficionado of user interfaces, not like some other people. So we've got our things here. We've got the game event for discovering the whole map, even though we started with the whole map unlocked, as you may see here. We can see where our other enemies are. You can see planets. And, so yeah, this is a big bonus, as you may guess, because it allows us to know where all the good stuff is. Meanwhile, we have our heroes. We've got Iria, Gleiss, War, and I know some of these have jokes in them, but this one could be a good ship hero. This one, not so much. Like, he's got Administrator, and heroes are all good at certain things. Like, they've got 2 specialties. Like, this guy, Brogan Unfettered, he's an Administrator and a Pilot. So that means that he gets certain abilities based on ship combat. We also get certain abilities based on running a planet. Now, ideally you'd want a guy with 2 abilities that specialize around planets, 2 around ships, but we can't always get that. Fortunately, here in the Hero Academy, which is where we manage all these special guys, we do have one faction that is good for ships. So we will probably buy something. We'll probably recruit him. Now then, first turn, we got some stuff to set up. Here's our planet Ubella. Not great, certainly. The asteroid belts will be useful once we get... well, those will be useful. The barren planets will be useful once we get some science online. But for now we have to choose an exploitation. This is what our planet focuses on, like what its main attempt is, the certain resource. In considering the planet here, there is really only one solution, which is food specialization. That makes sure we'll have a lot of population, which means a lot of dust, a lot of production. Dust is the currency in the game, kind of like gold, except, you know, you can never go below 0, which is very nice. Sorry. It's spring. I blame springtime. Now then, we've got 2 ships. We've got a scout. We've got a colony ship. Colony ships obviously let you colonize things. Scouts let you scout things. If I was telling you something amazing, this would be a very sad day. Anyway, at the moment, we don't have a lot to colonize. We can colonize ocean planets, Terran planets, and jungle planets, I think. Yeah, those 3. So to get more, we need more techs. Fortunately, for us, anyway, there are 3 star systems which we can immediately colonize. So we're going to take our vessels, and we're going to head off for Ysel, which has a planet we can immediately colonize, which will immediately allow us to begin production. Speaking of which, I'm going to make a new colony ship with the engine upgrade, and just that, which will allow us to get around faster and win the colonization game that way. Sure, it costs a bit more, but it's worth it in the long run. And we're going to name this the Haven class. There we go, new ship. This is the military view, as you may have guessed. You can see all your fleets here, your available ship designs. You can make new designs, as I just did, with weapons, other upgrades. Here's where you can retrofit your ships, so to upgrade them to the next design, if you ever upgrade something. And finally, the tech tree. That's a big tech tree, son. And we're gonna get pretty far along. You gotta choose what to specialize in. You get diplomacy, you got warfare, you got science, you got exploration. All of these things are pretty useful, to say the least. So, in line with that, oh yes, the other good thing is you can actually queue techs, so you can just set up a line, go through, and that is what we are going to do here. So first we want production tech, then isolation, then research, dust, and then we'll shoot for the applied Casimir effect, which lets us go through wormholes. Very useful, as you may guess. Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get through the galaxy like we want to. Now then, with that settled, well, here you can see the Empire tree. This is our planets, total dust, what sort of resources we have, which we have none, the amount of research we're getting, and our planets, heroes, approval, the amount each makes, that sort of thing. You can see the trade routes we have, which is none, and the bonuses that we have for our empire. So, let's move on to turn 2. Now, I suppose I should say straight off that I'm gonna have to, manually watch every battle, because there's this weird bug, or at least I'm not sure if it's a bug, but, it makes it so that if I auto-do it, sometimes my ships will take damage even though the enemy has been destroyed, which is very annoying. Well, that's settled, we'll go again. Otherwise, I'm doing pretty well. The new Star Wars trailer came out, and everyone's going crazy over that. It's very fun to watch, I'll admit. I mean, I enjoyed the trailer on principle, because it's a pretty awesome trailer. But it's just fun seeing people go crazy over how good it was. And we have colonized Ysel, our first planet. So this gives us a game event. Great things have small beginnings. Haggard, unsure, but full of hope. The first colonists of faction have set foot on another planet. It may seem trivial, but even the most epic adventures begin with a single step. So that is us. Now let's look at this planet. We've got an arid planet, and a gas giant. Gas giant's going to be very useful in the late game. These two, well, we'll see. But as you can tell, this system overall is going to be great for dust. When we eventually get around to having dust. Meanwhile, we're going to dedicate this planet to science. Because, because it has this anomaly here, cyberflora, which gives us +2 dust per person on the planet, which is crazy good. I'm not sure, can you actually like tell it there? Well, you can't really see the cyber dust. The cyberflora, sorry. But, oh well. That's how it goes. Yeah, Star Wars trailer, it's pretty amusing. I like the Super Star Destroyer, I like how it looks. I like how J.J. Abrams hasn't gone crazy with things. We finished our first tech. We now have access to Titanium-70, which is a resource that you need for like building ships and improvements and stuff. And we have some, fortunately, on this planet we just colonized. Very nice. We also unlocked a star system improvement, which will aid in production, which is definitely a good thing. And we can hire our hero, Glycewar 1B4. Okay, now I know there's a joke here I'm missing. I just can't figure out what it is because I'm just bad, I guess. But we're going to hire him or her, the alien creature. We're going to assign it to our fleet. This will give us some bonuses, and it'll help us build up a ship for, well, it'll help us build up our hero for later. On the plus side, this exploration event just gave us the cheapest technology, which is probably military tech. But yeah, see, we've unlocked HE batteries now, which certainly is that is generally the cheapest tech, but it's very nice because now we have lasers. So when we get on to building combat ships, we can have lasers. Lasers. I'm sorry, it was just too good to pass up. Now then, let's take a look at this thing. The Empire view. So this is our planet. We've got two now. One has more population than the other, but one has more happiness than the other. You can see now, that is what kind of dust, that's the kind of food we're making. We're making 33 food from planets. 5 from the star system. That's a lot. That's cool. This is good for us. Especially in terms of long-term expansion because you need dust. Well, you need food as the basis of your empire. Checking things over, since you can use dust to buy out improvements. But there's nothing there, so we're good. No choice really but to go on. Still really like the design. Combat could be better, I'll admit, but at least in this way you can like see the kind of resources each planet has, determine the best way to use it. We've finished isolation shields, which give us a research-based improvement. So that will be very useful here in Yacel, which seems to be based around research to some extent. We got 5 dust. That's not very useful. I mean, it's useful, but don't get me wrong. But 5 dust, especially once you get in the late game, is going to be pocket change. On we go again. Apologies. +5 science, also not that important, but hey, every bit helps. The other benefit is you can manage your empire production from this empire view, which makes things a lot easier, just to say the least. Yeah. It's fun. I'm not going to say it's as good as Galactic Civilizations 2, but it's got its own good points to it. Like, I like the style. I definitely like the artwork. And this kind of managed thing where you have to pick and choose routes to go, at least at first, is very helpful for my organized mind. We finished another tech. This will give us access to a bunch of luxury resources, as well as a dust-based improvement for wealth. So as you can see, we found hydromeal, dust water, blue cap mold, and red song. We don't have any of those right now. So we've also found a planet with a wonder based on it. That would be the Fulcrum Siphon. Planets can have wonders on them. That's generally distinguished on the map by having a gold ring around them. They can do all sorts of things. Some of them you get automatically, some of them you have to get the resources and dust to actually rebuild before you can get the benefit from it. And those are generally more powerful. And we got 10 signs from it as well. So we continue along. Eventually we're going to meet our first civilization. But that time will come soon enough. We've finished xenobotany, so now we can colonize tundra planets. Tundra planets are generally good for industry. So that will certainly be useful once we start cranking out more. And see, look at how many planets we can colonize now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planets. Where before we can only colonize like 2 of these. So that's definitely a boost. So you just gotta get around to making them, you know? And that's the fun part. Very fun indeed. Another resource, plus 10 science. We finished our exoscience stations, so now we are getting 10 dust, well 10 research from this one planet, so that's because we're losing a bunch from distance. But that'll change soon enough once it becomes a full planet and not just an outpost, because right now it's an outpost, it doesn't have the sphere of influence, anyone can come and take it, and it takes time to become an actual planet. Once it becomes an actual planet, though, that modifier will vanish, presumably. Oh, and we found another wonder. This will be the stellar boar, which means it's more than like a star or something. Yeah, it harvests materials from a dying star. And it made us a new exploration ship, which is awesome, because that means more things we can explore. Exploration, science. Over here, we can see that whoever these Elma guys are, they've colonized the planets. Well, all our neighbors have colonized the single planet because that's easy. We're going to have to make sure we don't fall behind. And we must make sure that we give peace a chance, as it was put. The colony ship should be finishing soon. That'll let us get off and do better things. Go colonize another planet, which we can turn into an industrial hub world. Because we can get a planet start really cranking out ships, that'll be good. Our heroes leveled up. That means we can choose abilities for them, which will improve their stats, and give them actions when it comes to combat. With that in mind, we're going to give them offense, Assailant 1, because that'll give them some new abilities, and it'll make them better able to fight if we ever get in a fight. We've also unlocked a new ship class, which will decrease the percentage of flak tonnage on the ship, so we can put more anti-missile weaponry on our ship than we would be able to normally. Now we're working on the applied Casimir effect, which will allow us to go through these wispy lines, because those are wormholes. Eventually we'll be able to ignore those entirely, but until that point, we have to live with them. That means we have to get the applied Casimir effect. Now I can go to Sathras, or I can go to Stauderus. Those would be the most likely options. We finished our colony ship. So now we have... let's look at what these things are. We've got 2 large tundra planets. Sorry, one huge, 2 large. One of those has Kessler syndrome, but that won't be a problem. The other one here has the perpetual flux machine, though, and a small tundra. But it also has lava planets, so when we unlock lava planets, that'll be great. For the moment, though, I think I'm going to go to Sathras. That'll give us a lot of industry to work with. Perpetual flux machine. It's a perpetual motion machine, as you could probably have guessed. Those guys are going to park it there until we can go through the wormhole. And we shall continue our glorious efforts to expand for the greatness of the Amoeba. I also say that I guess I enjoyed Sword of the Stars more, though, to be honest. But Sword of the Stars is this obviously has it being more recent going for it, and like it looks better in my opinion. But combat is better in Sword of the Stars. Shipbuilding is kind of the same, so I'm not really going to comment there at all, except that like Sword of the Stars has more options available to it. But that's just how things tend to go, so I'm not going to blame them for that. Yazel's finished more stuff, so it's getting stronger. We've got 15 turns until it becomes a full-fledged part of our empire. We're going to... this was a change recently instituted. They didn't have these before, but colonization events. So for 20 turns, we'll have an extra industry and an extra science per person on the planet for the next 20 turns, which is really awesome. So we're going to throw that into industry, and then we'll get the rest. So that way we can become a production machine, and they can fuel my war effort. Alright, did anyone colonize anything else? No. We're the first person to colonize a 3rd planet. And I like how the ability lets you see that people colonized things, even though you haven't met them yet. Like, I could see... I know the backstory why and stuff, but it's just amusing. That's all I'm gonna say on that matter. Giselle's finished their research-based upgrade. And we are now making a whopping total of 20 science, 40 from planets, 20 from the distance. So once the distance goes away, that's going to be really good for us, to be sure. And we have somebody else has finished something. Well, one of our other planets. Yubella's finished their industry-based upgrade, so now they're working on science. Once they've done that, we'll work on more colonizers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fortunately, we can do that because we have the population to do that. So they'll get on that once our science upgrade is finished. We're also going to buy out this upgrade so we can get our industry up and running that much faster, which is, as you may expect, very helpful, and it will be very helpful. But we have bigger concerns. We finished the applied Casimir effect. We can go through wormholes now. See? The Call of Distant Constellations. You discovered the technology required to safely traverse the wormholes that link constellations. Which brave captain will discover what lies beyond, and what riches or horrors await them? So first, we're going to get some more research. So, more industry, more science. We're also going to work on neurorobotics. Then relativistic economics, particle scanning, and xenosociology. Before we finish it off with arid epigenetics. That'll provide us a good balance of economy, industry, and colonization. Now then, let's go meet our new neighbor, shall we? And on this end... Oh, they've colonized 2 planets. As have they. Very nice. I wonder who they'll end up being. Will it be the Sheridan? Will it be more people like myself? Which is a really weird part of the game, in that you can have multiples of the same faction at once. It's nice, but sometimes you'd like to be able to control that sort of thing. USL has finished all their upgrades. We're going to get them building colony ships as well for the expansion rush. We don't want to be left behind. And we have met our first faction! You're not alone. Beginnings are delicate things. Friend or foe, ally or enemy, you have made contact with another spacefaring species. Treat them as you would have them treat you. So ooh, the sowers! These are the other nice guys. They're oriented more around like industry and stuff. And building... Ooh. These guys have 3 planets now. They're really expanding. They're expanding more than me. That could be bad. But it could be good. Well, it could be bad. But we may be able to handle it. We won't know until we find out. So now we can go to the diplomacy screen. We'll see here the sowers. These are the nice guys. They don't really care about us right now. But once we research some diplomatic tech, we can probably get along with them. I mean, in the backstory, the thing is simply building things. They like to build things. So the guys who propose peace and the guys who want to build things can probably get along, you know? Hero is leveled up again. We're going to give them Tactician 1, which gives minus 6% accuracy to enemy weapons. When you're in combat, that can be really important. See, that was a point where we should have had someone with our fleet to tell us, well, if we'd had someone with our fleet, we would have gotten a bonus there. And since we didn't, there was no bonus. To be honest, it was probably just like extra experience for our hero, or they might have gotten an ability point or something. Ability point would have been nice, but I'm not going to be too angry about it. We finished core mining. This will give a boost to our industry specialization, which is good. So for like on Sathras, now we have geo-industrial plants rather than what we had before. We've also discovered Hyperium, and that gives us access to Hyperium, which is another of those industry and improvement-based resources. It also gives us +1 science on the planet, which is nice. And if we have more than 4 of them, it will give us +30 production cost on modules that have it. Ooh, well, we found a lot of stuff. So we discovered the Glittering Halls, which are giant caves big enough to house small cities under the surface. We found the Auriga system, and Auriga is like a special planet, like capital of the ancient Endless or whatever. We've got 10 dust. Nihal, the Husk of Knowledge. Auriga housed the greatest site for the study of xenobiology ever created by the genius of the Endless. A towering achievement of industry and science, the surface then crusted the planet where a warren of laboratories, biospheres, and research centers. When the bombs fell during the Dust Wars, this enormous installation became the greatest expansive ruins and store of lost knowledge, in the known galaxy. Should the laboratories ever be repaired and the data recovered, the scientific benefit would be unimaginable. So this is one of those planets where if we colonize it, we can rebuild, as it were. We can rebuild the husk of knowledge, and that would give us a big boost to science and such. And we found the Tree of Worlds, which is a really big tree that also serves as like its own biosphere. So it's really big. It's really big, which is awesome. I'm not gonna say it's not. It's just like it's on a. It's one thing this game does really well. It's the scale of things. It's like a tree that houses people inside, that houses like worlds inside it. And we've got a new exploration ship, which is to our benefits. Though, it's kind of unneeded in terms of simple exploration at this point. +5 dust. Now, our potential enemies are really expanding, so we're going to have to kick things up soon if we want to keep up. We have finished PEV scale accelerators, which means our engines will be faster, and our science exploitation has been upgraded as well. Which is good, because that means more science. Science means more research, so we can research things faster. So we will now go colonize Regulus. Which is good because we just got that exploration event giving us extra industry, which will help us get set up here. Of course, this planet has we've also got a gas giant, hostile bust, Arctic planet, lava planet, desert planet. So I think this is going to be a jack-of-all-trades planet, as it were. But that's fine. We can manage with that. Now we'll need to get over here and colonize this section before we lose out. While focusing on this section here so we can take Arga, take those planets. And then we'll have a pretty solid base from which to set ourselves up in. If I do say so myself. Oh, and we've met the Sheridan. Oh, Sheridan are not nice guys. I doubt they'll go to war with us instantly or something like that, but they are people you gotta watch out for. They will mess you up if they get the chance. So we will have to make sure we don't give them that chance. We finished another colonization ship. And we now have a repair module for when we're in combat. No, this is just a module, sorry. This would give our ship extra repair. And we have a weapon card that, so in battle, we can use this to disrupt enemy missiles. Which is very nice, as you may guess. So now we're going to take this. We're going to go colonize Staterus. Actually, this should go up here, so we can block any attempts they make to get to one of our planets. Alright, more industry, more planetary upgrades. All good. So we're going to tell our scout here to park it here and block any attempts to get through this planet. We can see an unknown fleet, but we don't know what it is, which is worrying, but there's not much we can do about it. New technology, so this is another dust improvement. It'll give us a trade route. and decrease the upkeep on our system. And we've unlocked the ability to establish ceasefires and make peace with other alien species. Which is pretty good, because once we make peace with them, we can, well, ceasefire allows us to stop fighting with them. Peace allows us to set up trade routes and such. And we have met the... Oh, we've got the sowers again. On both sides of us, we've got the sowers. So if we look at the map, we've got the sowers here, we've got the sowers here. Then we've got the Sheridan. This is either going to end very badly, or it's going to be fine. I can't tell. And we're going to colonize Stardust 2 and get us that perpetual flux machine. This perpetual flux machine is online, we don't have to rebuild it, and it decreases the industry cost of improvements in the system by 15%, and the cost of ships by 15% as well, which is great, all things considered. So we're going to use it to build some industry. And with that here, this is going to be a big planet for like industry and building ships, especially once we get these lava planets colonized. With that in mind, though, I think we're going to, having colonized that, having everything set up, I think we're going to call it that quits. This quits for now. Like, subscribe if you enjoy this. If you want to see me play more of Endless Space, if I'm entertaining you sufficiently to make up for what happened in my Sins of a Solar Empire Let's Play, means a lot to know that you care. And I'll see you next time.